Okay, hi guys, welcome to my channel. I know it's been a while since the last time I posted, but I have to take into account my health. So last time I posted it was just like a video of me showing you guys some behind the scenes preparing for my mastectomy photo shoot. Like I had a funeral for my boobs literally, and I posted, well, I didn't post the pictures yet, but I just like made some pictures of me with gravestones, some cupcakes and everything, just to kind of give my boobs a farewell. So that was a few months ago. Since then I had my mastectomy. They put these things in my chest called tissue expanders, and they fill it with fluid occasionally to slowly stretch my skin out. They had to take some skin away from my chest when they did the mastectomy, so I don't have as much skin as I used to, and the expanders are in there temporarily until I get my implants. So this is all part of the reconstruction process. And because I start radiation soon, I had to go get the spacers adjusted so one is bigger than the other one, just to help avoid additional organ damage. So yeah, they're temporarily uneven, and then once I'm done with radiation and I have some time to heal, then they'll even them out and they'll slowly make them bigger and bigger until I get to the size closest to when where I was before I got my mastectomy. Maybe a little bit bigger, just to help give me additional room to mess around with. So yeah, I've been dealing with a lot. I think that when you announce that you are done with chemo and then you announce that you are officially cancer free, a lot of people expect you to revert back to your pre-cancer, pre-chemo body and be able to be like this fully functional, fully able-bodied person, similar to how you were before you got sick. And that's just not the case. It's a lot of healing to go through. So first of all, my cancer progressed later, more than I originally thought. I thought I was like beginning stages, like stage 2, but actually I was at stage 3, which is a more aggressive form of cancer, and it's harder to treat. So because I had a more aggressive form of cancer, it required a more aggressive form of chemo. So I'm recovering from the disease itself, which affects your whole body, and the treatment, which also affects your whole body. And then I was given like 14 different prescription drugs, some very high dose, and some where I had to take about 2-3 times a day, overlapping. And at first I was giving pills for the side effects of chemo, and then I was giving pills for the side effects of the drugs that I was taking. And then I was giving additional like over-the-counter drugs to help counteract like those side effects. So I was just taking pills for side effects of side effects of side effects of side effects. And a lot of side effects that I ended up having from the chemo and from the medication, I didn't know about until I experienced it. So I was told that chemo can cause nausea, muscle weakness, can make your joints sore and cause nerve damage and all of that, like as like a basic rundown. And I was given a cancer binder, which kind of gives me like a basic rundown of what to expect during treatment and what to expect while you're going through like the disease itself. And there's like recommendations on how to deal with certain things, but still I was kind of left in the dark about a lot of different things. Like I didn't know that I was going to deal with some of those things until right when I was dealing with them, and I had to adjust to that. So yeah, so that was a lot to deal with. And then so I stopped chemo in December, like late December. Like my last chemo was like late December. And then, hold on, rewind. So my chemo sessions were split into 3 parts. The first part was like a lower level, still pretty high dose. And then the second part was like a even higher dose of the first one. And then like the third segment of it was like this other type of chemo called AC chemo, and it was like a different process, and it was more aggressive than the other forms of chemo, which gave me more side effects and more weakness, more dizziness, more nausea. Like I can barely walk with this, even more so than the other forms of chemo. So I stopped that in December, and then in January I had my mastectomy. So the surgery kind of delayed the healing from the chemo and the drugs and all that, and then added on to it in terms of like what my body had to go through. They told me that the surgery would take about 6 weeks to heal from, but honestly, it's April and I'm still dealing with some of the side effects of the surgery, like nerve damage, and like I don't feel 90% of the skin on my chest. Like all of this, I don't feel that shit. Like if somebody hits me right here or bumps into me or something, I don't feel it. And when they do the adjustments to my spacers, they inject these huge needles in to inject fluid. And when they do it on this side, I do not feel it. And the needle is like this big and like this thick. So like when they inject that into me, like I don't feel that, which is a good thing for the time being, because who wants to feel that? But still, it's like, dang, I cannot feel shit. What the hell? And they told me, this type of nerve damage is normal with this procedure. The feeling may or may not come back in the next couple of months, or the damage could be permanent. So there's that. I am still dealing with appetite issues, dizziness, nausea. Like I'm still taking my anti-nausea pills. I'm still taking pills for neuropathy, which is nerve damage. I'm still dealing with like chemo brain side effects, which chemo brain is just like basically chemo can cause brain damage, and chemo brain just kind of makes you kind of absent-minded or just like not fully aware of everything. You have to be very careful. It's very easy to forget where you park if you drive, lose your keys, misplace things. Anytime you walk into a room to like go and do something, like it's very easy to forget, even more so than like usual. It's easy to forget what you're doing while you're doing it. Like I will put something in the oven and I'll go sit down and I'll come back with the intention to check on that thing. But instead of checking what's in the oven, I'm like, well, I don't know why I'm in the kitchen. I know I'm supposed to open the door. So I'll open the refrigerator, open the freezer, open the cabinet, open the drawer, and be like, I don't need anything. And I'll go sit down, and then next thing I know, the food's burning. I have left candles on. I have left my keys in the door. I have left the door unlocked. I have left the stove on. I have left the oven on. I've left the refrigerator or the freezer wide open. Like, just absent-minded things that I wouldn't normally do under the right circumstances. I'm doing it a lot just because, I don't know, I'm very forgetful and I'm very like not fully aware of what I'm doing a lot of the time. So I do still need like adult supervision when I'm doing certain activities, just to make sure that everybody is safe. So yeah, it's a lot to deal with. Dealing with like feeling dizzy. Like I'm always dizzy and I'm always queasy. I still have dizzy spells occasionally, and I still have like nausea moments where like food just kind of gives me the icks, or I feel gross while eating, or somewhere along the way throughout the process of being like I need to go and get food to eating, I get the icks and I don't want it anymore, or like the texture changes or the taste changes for me and I don't want it, so I can't eat whatever thing gave me the icks for whatever amount of time until my body decides that it's okay for me to eat again. And yeah, it's a lot to deal with. I've been trying to like get jobs, like part-time jobs and stuff, but either they don't get back to me or when they do, they're lying about something and trying to scam me. And it doesn't matter if it's on Indeed or ZipRecruiter or Google or like whatever site. They'll either lie about the job being remote, they'll lie about the job being part-time, they'll lie about the job being in Chicago. Like, the job, I will specifically look for jobs in Chicago, like the city of Chicago, and the person will get back to me and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're in Crystal Lake, oh yeah, we're in Oak Brook Terrace, we're in Oak Park, we're in Crystal Lake, we're in Skokie, we're here, we're there, like literally anywhere else besides actual city of Chicago. And it's like, no, I'm not traveling all the way an hour or two out the way to you because you lied about actually being in the city. Or I'll specifically apply to part-time jobs because I physically cannot work a full-time job. Like, I am to the point where my fatigue is still pretty heavy, and if I don't take naps when I need to take naps, I will just fall asleep doing literally whatever it is that I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm cooking, cleaning, doing the laundry, sitting on the couch watching TV. I would just doze off in the middle of whatever, whenever. So it's not really safe for me to go too far from the house, really be out and about too much, and going back to my old job, like working directly with the doctors and handling a lot of contaminated instruments and stuff. So yeah, like I'll apply to a part-time job thinking, I don't really have a lot of energy, I'm still dealing with all these issues. I want to try and bring in some type of income, and they'll lie about the job being part-time. Like, oh, actually, we ran out of part-time positions. We only have full-time. Oh, are you sure you don't want to come in for an interview? We love to have you. Full-time is fine. Or I'll specifically apply to a remote job, and they'll get back to me and be like, oh, we're out of remote jobs. Actually, we're not doing remote for this position. Or actually, we're back in the office. Oh, but it's super cool. Everybody's really nice. I think you would like it here. I think you should come down and meet the team. And no, because you freaking lied to me somewhere in the process of your application. And it's not like I'm applying to jobs that are like weeks old or months old or like a year old or whatever. I will type in like jobs posted. Like I'll adjust it so that I can see jobs posted in the last day, jobs posted in the last 3 days. So, like, somebody has to be mindful of what's going on and deliberately try to trick people into applying to jobs that they know, aren't what people really want. And then I went on an interview maybe like a month ago, and I disclosed the fact that I'm recovering from cancer. I can't work in the back. I can't work full time. And it was a part-time job where they mainly just needed somebody like 1 day a week, 2-3 days max. And those extra 2 days, can be flexible. And, I was trying to work with them and everything, but I felt like when I disclosed the fact that I'm sick and I need all these accommodations, it kind of disqualified me from getting the job because I never heard back from that place again, and obviously I'm not working there. So it's like also like I'm dealing with being discriminated against because of the condition of my health. Like I can't fully commit to like a full-time job, and there will be times where I do need a half day because I have a doctor's appointment or I have some type of treatment. And I'm not going to not go to my doctor's appointments just because of work. Like, are you kidding me? No. So, yeah, I haven't really been able to focus on drawing or painting lately just because it's just hard enough for me to deal with basic things around the house, like cooking or cleaning or doing laundry. There are some days I wake up, I eat food, and I go back to sleep, and I'm just completely done for the day. Like, I don't have any more energy. I only had enough energy to eat that one meal for that one day, and now I'm back in bed. Can't do it. There are times where I'll go for a walk, like only 2-3 blocks max, there and back again. Come back home, I'm in the bed with the intention to take a nap, and and I'm completely done for the rest of the day, and I'm still feeling the effects of that the next day. So I just don't fully have it there, like, all together. Like, I'm not like this fully functional, fully able-bodied person that's able to do all of the things that I guess people expect from me. And there are times where I do need help because something may be too heavy, or sometimes I have to ask my partner, like, hey, can you chop these veggies up for me because I'm having a hard time. My hands are really shaky. I keep dropping stuff. I've poked myself with forks and knives. I've gotten cuts and scrapes and like tiny little puncture marks from like stabbing myself with a knife accidentally. Something crazy like that, just because I didn't have full control over my hands. So it's just been a lot of healing to go through. It's been a lot of just trying to balance a lot of my side effects, like fatigue, nerve damage, chemo brain, and just handling basic things. Like, there are days where I'm like, I have like this list of things that I want to do, and I'll do like one of those things, and I'm just completely done for the rest of the day. Can't do anything else. Like, really just not fully there, not fully functional. So just because I'm officially cancer free doesn't mean that I'm not still dealing with a lot of the side effects from cancer. Stage 3 is an aggressive form of cancer. Chemo, the type of chemo that I was giving and the doses that I was given was pretty damaging to the body. Because chemo, even though it helps, get rid of cancer, it's like targeting your whole body. And I'm learning all these different things I didn't fully know about. Like, some people literally go blind from chemo. Some people get brain damage, like worse than just typical chemo brain. Like, they have all these other issues because chemo attacks like your soft tissue areas of the body. So anything in your body that's like a soft tissue-y thing, it like targets. It can cause lots of damage. And for people who have had cancer multiple times throughout their life, unfortunately, they have so much damage. I'm anemic and I'm premenopausal because chemo makes you premenopausal if you're a woman. Like, I don't get periods. I get hot flashes. I mean, the only upside is that like my skin kind of cleared up a bit, because I don't know. Yeah, like that's like a side effect. And then once I get my hysterectomy, that's gonna be permanent. Like, even after like the chemo starts to flush out of my system a bit more, like once I have the hysterectomy, like I'm not gonna have any of those. I'm not gonna have periods again for the rest of my life, which is great because my periods are freaking terrible. Literally tried to kill me. The amount of times that I have peed myself, pooped myself, fainted, literally was like stuck on the floor for hours, like in a pool of my own puke and bodily fluids because I could not make it to the toilet is like insane. Like, that's not normal. Most people don't experience that. A lot of people, they can just take a Tylenol, they can just take ibuprofen. They could go like run a mile, run a marathon, play basketball, play sports, or anything like that. And there are so many times where I have literally slept in adult diapers because it was so heavy and just insane. And I hated having to explain to literally every employer that I've ever worked with that I can't come in because I'm sick. And I'm sick every single month because of my freaking periods. No, I can't take Midol. No, I can't take ibuprofen. Well, if it's really that bad, why don't you see a doctor about it? Doctors don't listen to women about these issues, especially black women, so really bold of you to assume that that will work. The only help I've ever gotten is like being prescribed birth control, But I really wish that the doctor that prescribed me birth control would have asked me about my family history. Because if she would have asked me about my family history, then she would have known that I'm not a good candidate for birth control. Because if you have the BRCA gene, which is, you know, the breast cancer, ovarian cancer, fallopian cancer gene, you can't take birth control because it'll help increase your chances of getting cancer because you're already genetically predisposed. So if she would have asked me my family history and had and I would have told her like, hey, you know, my parents died from cancer, my mom had breast cancer, my grandma had breast cancer, my auntie, my sister, like all these people on my mom's side had breast cancer and most of them aren't alive anymore. And she would have said, well, you need to make an appointment with the gynecologist and talk about your options for getting a hysterectomy, then that would have been better than me going through everything that I went through and then getting cancer. Because the hormones from the birth control could have contributed to activating the breast cancer BRCA gene. So, yeah. In case you guys are wondering where I've been on social media and why I haven't been posting, that's pretty much why. I'm just giving you guys a health update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to everybody who's reached out to me, who offered support, people on my Patreon, people who sent me money on PayPal, people have bought from my Etsy shop, people who just like sent me kind messages, just offering love and kindness and support and just let me know that you're concerned about me. I'm not Christian, but you know, if you're just like, hey, you're in my thoughts and prayers, I appreciate that. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like offended by it, unless you're doing it in like a judgmental way. You know, that's different. But if you're just like, hey, I'm sending you well wishes, I'm sending you love, I'm sending you healing, you know, I appreciate that. And I want to say thank you guys so much. Bye.